Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sefy Tofan and today I want to show you how you can build a complete database in Airtable in less than 5 minutes using Airtable MCP on Claude. I'll show you the exact step-by-step you need to take so you can follow along and do it on your own. Let's begin. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to Claude. I'm using the desktop version and you can use the cloud version if you want. The first thing I did is I go to File and Settings. In the settings, I'll go to Developer mode and here I'll just edit the config. When I'm press on Edit Config, it will open it where it saves on my computer. When you open this file, what you want to put in this file is exactly this. So we want to have a config in JSON format that says MCP servers and then the actual server is Airtable. The command to launch it is npx, and then we have the args, which is -y and Airtable MCP server. And then you need to put your Airtable API key. So if you want to get this, I will have a link in the description. It's also in my community on School. To get the Airtable API key, what you need to do is, of course, go to Airtable. After you log to the Airtable application, you would be able to start and create a new space. So I'll create a new space. I'll start from scratch. And in this space, all I have is this table. First, I will go to my profile and I'll click on Builder Hub. It will take me to the Builder Hub where I can actually get the personal access tokens. I will press Create New Token. I'll give it a name. So let's say NA10 tutorial, and I'll add the scopes. The scope is what Claude, the LLM itself, will be able to do with Airtable MCP. So I'll just start adding different scopes. And honestly, you can just put all of them. It doesn't really matter because you're just going to use some of them. And if in the future you will have more use cases that you will want to use, you don't need to edit this. You can just use the same API key with those scopes. Then I'll create the base, which means which file I want to create. So that will be the untitled base. This is the new one that we just created. And I'll press Create Token. It will generate the API key that I can just copy now. I can go back here and I just paste it and save the file itself. After I saved it, what I'll do is I'll close Claude and I'll double check that Claude is closed on my computer, and then I'll relaunch the application. Once I relaunch the application, you should see that you have available MCP tool here and you have 13 different, those are the scopes that we have just created for the Airtable MCP. So now what we have actually did, we took Claude and we created a connection using an MCP, using a specific protocol of communication, of transformation of information from Claude to the tool we call Airtable. So now we created this connection between those two tools. One is an LLM that we can communicate with, and this LLM now have connection to the Airtable, but not just a communication connection, but it can actually use those different tools within the Airtable platform. So now that we have facilitated this connection, we'll go back to Airtable. I'll just rename it and I'll call it Home Finance because this is what we are going to do. We are going to build database for home financing. For example, knowing what is our budget, where we are on the budget, what are the expenses we have. And then later on in a future video, I will actually connect this database to an A10, so make sure that you follow along the journey if you want to learn how you can do it. So now it's just an empty table, right? Nothing over here. So what I told Claude is, I want you to help me build the database for my personal finances. I want to be able to follow my monthly expenses and add expenses. Those expenses should then be summarized per month so I can see where I stand on my monthly budget every month. Some of my payments are fixed monthly payments and some varies. For example, I have 10 more months to fully pay for my car and 20 more for my apartment. My monthly budget is attached and I just added a picture with a couple of numbers, and then how much money I'm going to pay for the car every month and for the apartment every single month. Please use the Airtable MCP tool to build the needed tables and relationships, because within this database, some of those things will be in a relationship to others. For example, the expenses should be in a relationship with the budget. So let's see what it creates. So the moment it starts, it asks me for permission. So I will allow during this chat, he will start by list basis, which means that he will go to Airtable and start understanding what are the tables that within Airtable right now. He will just see the basic one And now that he knows it, he starts integrating. As you can see, I see that there is a default table 1, and now he will start create the fixed expenses table. So if I'll go back, you can see that he started updating and adding all of those tables inside the database, and he's doing everything step by step. As you can see, he created the fixed expenses, then the variable expenses. Now he's checking the tables themselves. He double checked himself to see that those tables were actually created. And when he saw that they were created, he started creating the next one, which is the monthly budget. Now, once he finished creating all of the tables, he actually started adding the fixed expenses to the table. So if we go back, what we can see that he was doing, it didn't just create the tables. Every single column within those tables have a specific utility. For example, category, we actually have different categories, and I can just come to him and tell him, okay, change shopping to XYZ, right? And now that we have those, as you can see, he took the list I gave him and he started integrating those expenses into the table. So in essence, I didn't even need to go to Airtable to work with the platform anymore. I can just use Claude to integrate everything. And if we can use it on Claude, we can also use it on N8N. And this is exactly what I want to do in my next video, which will be how to build a home finance agent that help you use the database we have just built and fill it out whenever you are on the go and want to add expenses or want to check your monthly budget. So as you can see, it's pretty amazing that in less than 5 minutes, I was able to get a complete database ready for me with my actual data inside Airtable. And now if I want, I can even go and start creating interfaces within the platform so I can use my data in a much more efficient way. For example, if we'll start building and I'll build an interface, let's just call it Home Finance and put a euro sign to it, I can choose how I want to represent the information. So for example, I can choose a dashboard. And in this dashboard, I will take my fixed expenses and I can start see that I have, okay, I had 5 fixed expenses and I have on the housing, transportation, utilities, and how much of each of them. And I can start editing all of those things. So I can press on the pivot table and I can start editing what I want to see. Do I want to sort it by the group, by the value? And I can change the values themselves. For example, from count how many expenses there are to the field itself, which shows me how much money I'm actually spending. So I can build all of this interface and representation, and I can just publish it. And now I will have the actual link, and I can share it with anyone in the family. And as you can see, there is a complete database that can be updated with an agent, and every person on the house can use this agent. For example, we will connect it to a Telegram bot, and everyone can use the same Telegram bot to interact with this house finance agent, and then come to this window in Airtable and just see the complete interface with the dashboard, with the list, everything. We can build it and we can even edit it from here. So this is how you can connect an MCP to Claude and use Claude to use this MCP to edit and create databases on Airtable. If you find this interesting, make sure you check the link in the description. I have a school community for founders that are looking to build businesses using AI, building application, using vibe coding. What we're doing is building the largest community of founders. Just imagine for a moment what strong power it will be when we will have 1,000 people in our community, all founders in different stages of their business. Some of us are just starting, some of us are already building, some of us are already scaling our applications. So if you want, check the link in the description. I will look for you there. Join us, be part of the community, and until next time, ciao.